Good morning, soccer friends. This is First Touch 26 coming to you on the eve of World Cup final. Can you believe it? I can't. I'm Susannah Fuller. I'm alongside David Gass and Matt Doyle. Guys, we're almost here. How's it feel?
It's the morning of the eve.
The morning of the eve.
Of the world.
And all through the house.
Yeah.
Wild.
I don't know. I don't feel empty yet. I think tomorrow
agreed.
after the game, and then after we'll do our post-game show, which I'm looking forward to. We might have a few beverages after that.
Post-game show is
We will
drunk
be
show.
having
That's a brown liquor
beverages.
store.
Let's be clear.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But then I think the commute back home to Peekskill is going to be like,
Sad
Yeah.
Doyle.
yeah, what do I do now?
Sad boy.
Like every morning I get a breakfast sandwich, and the guy who serves them is Mexican, so we've been talking World Cup for a month. And it's been like electric and exciting. And we still talked about tomorrow's game today. When I no longer have that conversation piece, which I think will be Monday, that's when I think it'll go away. And it is like, for all of the negative stuff around it, it is the most communal thing we'll ever do.
No, 100%. I couldn't agree more. It's gonna feel very strange to not have these daily conversations. And do you know what I've loved too is just seeing everyone walking around with kits everywhere. I don't know.
I love that
pretty
everything knockoff in New York City is a soccer kit for
Yes,
the last
absolutely.
month. Like on Canal Street, you go down to bodegas. Like I was up on 34th yesterday because I went into a Sephora.
What?
So I would like
your
credit for
favorite
that.
your favorite spot.
Yeah.
I
My
mean,
wife texts
that's a
me-
sporting event in
My
itself.
wife texts me and goes, "Can you get me stuff from Sephora?" And I was like, "I feel like I just said this is my least favorite place on the
You are
planet,
such
unless
a
you
good
want to sponsor
husband.
us, Sephora." Yeah. And while I'm going in, like all the knockoff stuff on 34th is all like Holland jerseys and Mbappe jerseys and Messi jerseys. I don't think anyone 10 years ago, there's no way we would have said that that was
No.
even possible.
No, I popped into the Adidas store on Fifth Avenue.
Those are real.
Yesterday. They are real. Thank you very much. This place was a madhouse.
Yeah.
It was insane. I mean, everybody was just clamoring to get either Spain kits or Argentina kits, and I had to bounce. I was like, nah, can't. Too much in here, but it was pretty cool to see.
I will say on the commute in this morning, it was 90% Argentina kids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
They've been on
Not a
for
lot
4
of
days.
not a lot of England or France kids.
No, they've been on for 4 days. Like people have had their since they won the semifinal.
Yeah.
Everyone I've seen. I watched a video of Guatemala City, where it was a car driving down the street after they beat England, and it was just Argentina kits as far
Are you
as
sure they
could
weren't
see.
Guatemala kids? Because, you know,
No,
they share a color.
Yes, I'm 100% sure of that. But we've seen the videos from Bangladesh, right? Bangladesh has become famously, if you don't know this, a huge country that loves the Brazilian national team.
Yeah.
And in response to that, the other half of the country's decided that they are Argentine fans right as Messi came up. So there's like a huge movement for Messi, and there's these drone videos of these like huge watch parties, like 10,000 people. I guess Guatemala goes on that list as well of being Argentine.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Well, it's a big day on First Touch 26, guys, because we're going to be handing out some awards. Have you guys ever won an award? Have you won an individual award?
We were given things in high school for playing on teams. I don't know if that counts.
Participation trophies
Basically.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Game is officially gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the closest I've ever gotten. Have you gotten an award?
I mean, I think I won like most spirit on my like softball team when I was 10 years old.
Yeah. That's
good.
Oh, I was always leading the cheers and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like
obviously.
that counts. I won a presidential, fitness award. You know, when
For
you're
doing like the 70
Exactly.
push-ups and the 10-mile
Does that
run.
count?
That counts, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that thing was made so that everyone passed. It was designed in 1960.
I won. I think I still had the record. I mean, it's been a long time, but the flexed arm hang. So the guys had to do pull-ups.
Yeah.
Girls did the flexed arm hang, where you like just hang there. And I was a late bloomer, kids. So I probably weighed like 50 pounds when I was doing this. So
you were
not a
just
lot.
there for a couple
I
hours.
was just chilling, hanging out. Everyone's like, she's still up there. But I think I like set some record at my school.
Very nice.
So yeah, there's that. What about you, Doyle? Any awards?
Yeah, I won some awards.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Just casual?
Yeah, Yeah, just casually.
Come on.
Okay. You don't want to like speak to that?
I won some awards, playing Little League.
Oh wow.
I was a decent bowler,
All right,
believe
we're
it or
going-
Oh,
not.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I
believe
love
that, too.
bowling.
Yeah, and then, some writing stuff back in college. So.
Of course you
Ooh.
did. He's a talented guy.
Yeah.
Very multidimensional.
Yeah.
We love that. All right. Well, should we get into it, guys?
So we have a lot of awards.
We got a
today.
lot of awards. Okay, so what are we calling this? The First Touch 26 World Cup Awards. I was like, what? I was like the touchies, and then I was like, that kind of sounds a little problematic.
Yeah. That's very Michael Scott of you.
Right. It really is. All right, but we're going to start with our football manager tactician of the tournament, guys. Ready to take your soccer fandom to the next level. Football Manager is the most immersive soccer game ever created. Football Manager 26 International Mode is available now. You can download it today on Steam or your favorite console, PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo Switch. All right, so should we take a look at our finalists for the Tactician of the tournament? There they are: Lionel Scaloni, Luis de la Fuente, Jesse Marsh, Bubista, and Ståle Solbakken of Norway. Before we announce our winner, we're going to kind of state our case for at least one of these guys. Are you ready to do this? Doyle, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I'll make the case for Jesse Marsh.
Okay. Whoa, wait, burp.
Yeah, well,
What?
I mean, I have said it repeatedly. That is not my favorite style of soccer, but the buy-in he got from 1 through 26 on that roster and the way they played repeatedly in terms of being on the front foot and bringing it to basically everybody they played against really impressed me. And I don't think that there's a lot of managers in this World Cup who could have done that while missing their 4 best players. And maybe their 5 missing is not the right word. Limited by the absence in a lot of ways of their 4 or 5 best players. So I just there are other teams that would have laid down and died. I think the U.S., if they had been missing Weston McKennie and Flo Balogun and Tyler Adams and Christian Pulisic, I think that they would not have had anywhere near as positive an outcome, which was mixed. Whereas Canada, because of the way they played against Morocco, I don't think it felt like a mixed outcome. I think it felt like they got out of the group, they won a knockout round game, and then they gave Morocco, who everybody recognizes as a top 10 team in the world, they gave him hell. So I think Jesse Marsh deserves a ton of credit. Obviously, the players deserve a ton of credit. And it makes it feel like what they accomplished 2 years ago in Copa America when they made the semifinals with a much healthier team. It sort of codified that. It said that was real. And this generation isn't just Alphonso Davies and Jonathan David and Ismail Kone. There's a lot more to it. And we saw it on the field for the most part.
Is one of the other things how well he put to bed the idea that he'd ever want to coach the U.S. men's national team?
I mean, that's part of it.
Because he really nailed that.
He made those press conferences an event, which I think Canada soccer needs, right? We always talk about the inferiority complex American soccer has. Canada has the same thing. And the way he handled himself, I think, grated on people on this side of the 48th parallel, but I don't think it graded on people above the 48th parallel. I think a lot of people took that message and it hit them where they live, so to speak.
I've heard split because I think part of it, I think you're right, is he made them feel bold and he attacked the U.S., which is great. But also there's a personality, which is Jesse's very American. Mm-hmm. The way he did it was very American. So not all Canadians, I think, felt as connected to it as maybe we would.
Did you speak to Canadians?
Yeah, and I think they're like, okay, Jesse, it's enough, chill. But I think he's very good at his job, and I can understand that. I would say, well, I'm not going to knock a different candidate. I'm going to promote my candidate, or should I knock his candidate?
You could know. I mean, there
I
are
would say
criticisms.
free-for-all. You can do whatever you want.
The Morocco game, I think Qatar was the worst team at the World Cup. I didn't feel like there was a large segment of time where Canada played to their level or well or set the terms of engagement. And that was underwhelming to me.
So I think they struggled the first hour against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Then Jesse made the absolutely correct substitutions in that game. Dominated the last half hour of that. Dominated Qatar. Didn't dominate against Switzerland, but they were in that game. And then dominated South Africa could not find the goal until the very end, but they did find it and then dominated 75 minutes against Morocco.
Yeah.
To me, do that without your best 4 players or without 3 of them in the fourth having a terrible tournament. You've done something right as manager.
That's fair. So mine is Bubista, who we had down there for the Cape Verde. His, I think, candidacy for this starts before the World Cup. He is one of the people in this pool that really built the team that he ended up coaching. He went out, he worked in the dual national recruitment policy. He built the group going forward. He's worked on this project for over 7 years. But even at the base level, they came in with the lowest odds of getting out of the group in their group. A group with 2 former World Cup champions in Spain and Uruguay for a debutante team, and then a Saudi Arabia group, which is going to host a World Cup and beat Argentina at the last World Cup and has experience at this level. So that alone, and I think the thing that Bubista has done that's so impressive is he's taken a roster of players who are known for their attacking qualities and turned them into an elite defensive team. And he's done it in qualifying. They're one of the best defensive teams in African qualifying. He did it at the previous African Nations Cup when they got through the group stage as the best defensive team at that tournament. And then we saw it again in this competition. And for everyone who would say, oh yeah, you play Spain, you have to sit deep. The quality of how you do it matters. And then we saw them grow as the tournament went along and extend, score some goals against Uruguay, and then play their best game against Argentina. And for all of what we've seen now of how Argentina struggled finishing off or really handling Cape Verde, Egypt, and then into the England and Switzerland games, that wasn't assumed coming out of the group stage. Like, remember, they destroyed Algeria in the group stage. Austria was not in the game. And then the Jordan game, everyone rotated. So it wasn't as obvious to say, oh, you can get after this Argentine backline. You can hit them in transition. You can create chances. And so Cape Verde did that without the blueprint being out there, that it was something that you're capable of. And there's the emotional side of things, convincing a group that's never been there that they belong there and that they have the opportunity. They did not get out as a third-place team. They got out as second-place team. Like, I've said this over and over. They won a qualifying group with Cameroon in it, which is a World Cup consistent qualifier and a team that had a good 2022 World Cup. And then they got out of the group over Uruguay and Saudi Arabia, 2 teams that have been there a lot. And Uruguay, of course, one of the giants in the world. So everything they did was not expansion of the World Cup thing. It was very real.
It wasn't a cute story.
Yeah.
It was a real soccer team, and Bubista deserves a ton of credit for that.
Has never coached out.
I love that, Doyle, because it's. I think everyone's looking for that like feel good story of the, and it's so much more than just a feel good story. Like, they were legitimately
they were a good team, man. Like, they took it to Argentina. Dave's right.
Born and raised in Cape Verde, has never coached outside of Cape Verde too. So he is an example of the soccer culture there. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
You're gonna vote for him?
It's hard not to.
Who are you gonna give the pitch on?
Mine's like the obvious one, which is fine, but it's Luis de la Fuente for Spain, who I think has just the way his team plays. They just have complete control with and against the ball. But it's interesting because they didn't look great at the start of this tournament. They struggled against Cape Verde, and I think the way that he is adjusted throughout this tournament is just sort of why he is as good as he is and why the Spain team is so good. I think he's done a really good job of managing Lamine Yamal's minutes coming back. Like, wasn't fully fit. We don't know if he's probably isn't still fully fit at this point, but I think he's done a really good job of kind of utilizing him when he needs to. They've gotten goals from all over the pitch, which is pretty remarkable. I think 3 from I can't say his name.
Oyarzabal.
Mikel
Oyarzabal.
He's fueling Doyle's
and they've
Golden
got
Boot team.
Goals from their fullbacks too. So they're just getting contributions from all over the pitch. The way he's used his subs, like Mikel Merino coming in and being a hero in 2 games. Rodri is playing. You keep talking about how incredible he has been in this tournament. Like, he's got Rodri playing back to the Rodri that we knew maybe 2-3 seasons ago. And so it just feels like he's managed this tournament very, very well, especially after having not a great start to it against Cape Verde. But here they are in a final, and they look like they look like the best team in the world right now.
The thing that I felt separated Spain in 2024 when they won the Euros from previous iterations, really over the prior 10 years, was the play of Lamine Yamal on one wing and then Nico Williams on the other. And to have gone into this tournament with Lamine Yamal maybe 80-85% of what he was, and Nico Williams basically only available as a super sub, and to actually just double down on pitch control. Drop Pedri, who was not playing well. There's not a lot of coaches in the world. I wouldn't have done that, but there's not a lot of coaches in the world who would have done that. Creating the right center back partnership with Kubarsi and Laporte. I mean, if he wins it, he is the manager of the tournament.
I mean, thinking about what they did to France was just.
I didn't think they would be able
remarkable.
to do that without the threat of Nico Williams in behind.
Yep.
And he just adjusted it so that the threat coming in behind was Cucurella. And they did that in a way where they were still able to cut off any service to Dembele, who you would think if the left back is gone, then Dembele would have all this room. Never happened.
Did not happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've made some cases. Should we see who the winner is? Drum roll. Hey!
España.
Shocker.
Does this change
Just
if
kidding.
he loses tomorrow?
Yeah. I mean,
The reality of a World Cup is there's so few games
Yeah.
and now there are more, so it
Yeah.
makes it a little easier. But like, I used to feel like, oh, we're so short-sighted. Whoever wins the final, it's like, well, they've played like 12% more World Cup games than everyone else. I think you'll see it in some of the awards we give as we go forward. Spain are clearly the best team at the World Cup.
Yeah.
So even if they lose tomorrow, my assumption is they'll lose because
Messi
Messi
does
is special, which will take us to our next award.
yeah, exactly. All right. Time now for the Golden Ball Award. And let's take a look at the finalists for the Golden Ball. Lionel Messi, Jude Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe, Rodri, and Erling Haaland. All right, same deal. Guys, make your case. Gass, I'll start with you.
We have a data partner in Gradient Sport where people who are trained in different ways watch every minute, every second of every game. They grade every action, and then they combined it all into a score. Messi's the highest rated player at the World Cup. He is the Golden Boot leader, and he is second in assists, and his team is in a World Cup final.
Yeah. Wow.
So I think Messi might be the best player at this World Cup,
He has scored or assisted in every game.
That's insane.
And
including the one he didn't start because they had already won the group
Correct.
and it didn't matter.
And also, very obviously, a lot of those have been big goals that he has scored or assisted upon. What he did against England in the final 15 minutes of that game is, it's legacy stuff.
The England discourse is funny. I mean, it continues. So it's still been funny. I think Doyle's very much enjoying the Messi trained in MLS to be ready for this moment. Going to Kansas City,
Is
going
it not
into the
true?
heat, traveling back. It might be true. It might not. But like statistically, this is going to be his best World Cup at 39 years
Yeah,
old.
it's
So just the
remarkable.
ability to keep yourself in shape and be available for this. And we sat and watched the England game, and I just kept saying to you, like, everything he did was positive, but it's never selfish. And like the whole, Jude Bellingham pisses him off. Like that story with so many athletes is like they put their head down, they go get their chances.
Right.
It's like quick layoffs to get everyone else moving or to put Paredes in the right position because he's not in the right position. So to force him by playing to his front foot or McAllister or whoever it is. And then he goes out and he finds the game against England and he gets them to the win. And I think to me, it was the second goal against Egypt, which was, I think, the most emotional I've ever seen Messi. And so I think it shows as well. I mean, we know this team's playing for him. They play for him in a way that's we've never seen for any other athlete or any other sport, and it's working, and he clearly is able to ride that line to not make it detrimental to the group. So he's the best player in the tournament, and he's probably the most important player to his team.
The only person I think who has a real argument is Rodri. And the argument is if they shut out Argentina tomorrow and they control the game the way they controlled the game against France, the way they've controlled the game against everybody, with Rodri as the centerpiece, then he's he's probably the player that he won't win it. Messi will win player of the tournament, but Rodri is probably the player of the tournament because he's the straw that stirs the drink for the best team in the world.
So that's who you're backing.
I
Rodri.
mean, it honestly,
Yeah.
it depends on who wins tomorrow.
Yeah.
It really, I hate to be so.
No, but it matters.
Yeah, it's like that is how we would determine. Like that's the game that matters the most.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm backing a guy who is definitely not going to win this award, but he's worth talking about, and that is Erling Haaland. Because I feel there's two reasons, really. Obviously, there's what he did on the pitch for Norway, but also just vibes that this man brought to the entire World Cup. I was so excited that Erling Haaland was finally going to get to play in a World Cup on an international stage because I had a feeling that he was going to seize the moment. I just, the guy is just a goal scoring machine, and he put away 7 goals. Norway gets to the quarterfinals. It was truly a remarkable story, and his quality is just on full display. It was on full display in this tournament, and I think that he now has an entire country and behind him. I mean, the U.S. loves Erling
LA Galaxy's
Haaland.
Erling Haaland.
My God. I mean, he just had so much fun. I think that he was joyful during this tournament, and he was having so much fun playing. He was having so much fun off the pitch and just like taking in the experience. And I think that's important. I think it's really important, especially considering kind of, the way people were feeling about the United States heading into this World Cup. I think he was kind of a unifier and a bright spot. And I don't discount that. I actually think that it does matter. And so, I would love to give him some shine for the Golden Ball because he's an incredible player, but also just a tremendous vibes guy.
So we didn't pick a winner for this one.
Yeah.
Because I think, as was stated, it's kind of going to depend on tomorrow's game more so than the other ones.
Yeah.
The other two names on here, Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham. I think Mbappe, obvious one, Golden Ball finalist as of right now. I assume he will win it. Golden Boot, because he's going to score like 14 goals in the third place
He seems
game.
very highly motivated to score as many as possible.
And I would say, I said this after the Paraguay game, I thought that performance was a leadership performance.
Yeah.
And I thought for a guy with the dictator jokes and the memes going around about him, and PSG won after he left and Real Madrid didn't win and people don't like playing with him, I think he's done a lot to repair that image of himself. Jude Bellingham is the interesting one to put down here because I think pre-World Cup it would have been Harry Kane. Like we all would have said Harry Kane on this list.
Yeah.
And I think that shows the tournament that he had and what he now represents. He's 23 years old. He is the face of the national team. He's the future of the national team. Again, gradient sport. He was the third best player in the tournament. He was the best attacking player in the tournament based off that grading system. And it was his ability to make those runs from deep, the goal scoring that he provided. And I think for all the focus Kane got, he understood, he read the space. And then even when the focus shifted to him coming out of the Mexico game, he still scores that opening goal against Norway, which completely shifts the momentum of that game.
Absolutely. It was both these guys are incredible. Both of them, one of their teammates was the best player on the team for at least half the tournament.
Yeah.
The first half of the tournament for France, it was Michael Olise we were talking about. The first half of the tournament for England, it was Harry Kane we were talking about because the team was built around Kane, his ability to drop and create plays. And even into that game against Argentina, the one England goal comes from Kane dropping deep. So I don't even think Bellingham belongs on the list, but I understand it.
Ooh.
I mean, he did have the big game against Norway, which is the one that got them.
And
to the
Mexico.
semifinal. Yeah, for sure.
So he won the two knockout
immense.
games they
he
won.
was immense against Mexico.
For sure.
Yeah.
He was great.
Okay.
All right.
We don't have a winner.
But we are not choosing a winner.
This will be
until
post game. We'll redo it.
post game.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
We'll write it. We'll
After the
handwrite it
final.
and we'll hold it up. And the winner is, and it'll be Jude Bellingham at the time. Suck it, Doyle.
Wow.
David
All right.
is a big English media guy now.
Listen, just keep calm and carry on.
We talked for 25 minutes about the England national team yesterday, and here you are stumping for them even more.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
My,
It's his
how
ball
things
control in
change.
central midfield.
Yeah, exactly.
That really changes the pace of play.
All right. Okay, let's move it along to the defender of the tournament. So let's take a look at our finalists for defender of the tournament. There you go. I'm Eric. I am so terrible with these Spain names.
Well, he's actually born in France, but he was raised
Aymeric.
in
Laporte.
in Basque country.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Didn't he play for the
He plays.
France.
He got a cap for France when he was young.
See,
Switched allegiance. He now plays for
a lot to
Athletic
keep track of.
Bilbao. He's got a story, man.
he really does. Okay, and then
I like
Dayo
that story's
Upamecano,
all occurred in
France.
like a 7-mile radius.
John Lugumi, Pau Cubarsí, and Johan Vasquez. All right, who's going to kick us off for this one?
I can go first. I'm going to say I put down John Lukumi.
Okay.
Colombia obviously didn't go as far as I would have liked at this World Cup, which is one of the problems. But I think you can see the trend that we fell to on this, which is the best defensive teams at the World Cup that we landed on. And so Colombia comes into the World Cup through the group stage. They conceded 1 goal. It was a, at the death, game already over, 1 against Uzbekistan. That's the only goal they conceded the entire World Cup. On top of that, Lukumi played center back on a team where Daniel Munoz was their leading scorer through the group stage from right back. And Mojica was one of the game changers getting forward from left back. So it wasn't drop deep defend in numbers. They had more possession in every single game they played at this World Cup. So while playing front footed and without a truly elite goalkeeper behind him, he was able to marshal the best defense, I would argue, in the tournament outside of Spain. And even the way he unleashed Davinson Sanchez to go and hunt and pick up the game, and his passing was equally at the level. Maybe not as much line breaking, but completing passes, keeping the game going. So to me, someone from Colombia deserves to be honored, and I think he makes the most sense as that player. He also is the guy who has kept, I don't know that they, coming off 2024 Copa America as the team has gotten older, they maintain the level. He's like one of 2 guys that has stepped in and added new blood to this team.
Yeah. For me, it is Aymeric Laporte. And there's, you could flip a coin some kind of between him and Pau Cubarsí, who we'll talk more about, I think, later. But there are 3 things. One was against both Portugal and Belgium. It became a very physical game at times in Spain's own box. And Laporte was the guy who was setting the tone. The few times Spain wasn't in possession of the ball, Laporte was the guy setting the tone physically, matching the tone physically of guys like Cristiano Ronaldo or De Ketelaere, who actually scored the only goal against Spain this tournament by dunking on Cubarsí. He was the one who was raising the level physically. And that's the thing with Spain. They're always going to have possession, and it always feels like you can get at them and bully them a little bit. And he was the one who was making sure that you actually can't do that. That's one. 2 is against France, they denied Cubarsí the ball. They would not let him be the one to initiate the build-outs. So it was actually Laporte who was conducting that game. And he was magnificent, man. Like, it was a time capsule performance collectively and individually. And then the third thing is, if we were going to do fullbacks, I think we would probably have Cucurella number 1 on the list. And who's the one who plays next to Cucurella and thus has more gaps to fill in? It's not Cubarsí, who I love. It is Laporte. And he has not put a foot wrong all tournament, but I think specifically in the past 3 rounds, Portugal, Belgium, France, like that is murderer's row. And he was 10 out of 10 in all 3 of those games.
Leads the World Cup in grading out on duels.
There you go.
There you go. I did not know that.
For
matches
a team,
the eye test.
Yeah, for a team where the ideal for them is to not end up in a duel, but when they do, to your point about the Belgium game, I think specifically, he was the one who stepped up and then said, okay, well, we're not going any deeper than this.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Strong case, Doyle.
Yeah.
Very strong case. I'll make a case for Dayo Upamecano from France.
Yes.
I mean, he's just a monster. And honestly, against Spain, it could have been like 5-0 if not for this man, because I thought he played exceptionally well. One of the only standout performances from France in that game. But he led the World Cup with 12 interceptions. Just defends in space incredibly well. 94% passing completion, so he's good with his feet. I think France they had like 4 clean sheets. He basically played the entire tournament. I just think that he was just such a monster. And he'll be disappointed with obviously that result against Spain, and also with Bayern losing with Bayern in the Champions League.
It's
but
kind of a tough
it's been
year.
a tough stretch for him, but I think he's exceptionally good at what he does, and was certainly worth a mention.
God, I'm already looking forward to next year's Nations League.
Yeah.
You know,
To watch
we
some
could
of these teams play again.
yeah,
High leverage moments. Jorge Jesus is Portugal.
it's still Cristiano Ronaldo, Portugal, unfortunately.
But no, I coming out of the Spain game, I kept talking about with Upamecano. He erases space, I think, better than anyone.
Yeah.
And he knows it, so he can play. He can shift his positioning, and I think he closes down and makes life easier, especially with William Saliba's injury.
Yeah.
He made life easier for his partners, and he opens up space so that his center mids can hunt a little more or get forward a little more, because he can just take away the channel, basically the right back position, as well as the center forward spacing. I think he's the best center back on the planet. And if I was building a team, he would be the one that I would build it around.
Yeah. All right. Should we announce the winner?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a surprise? What if it was someone none of us said?
That'd be kind of fun.
It would be kind of fun.
All right. Let's see it. Who's our winner? Doyle's guy.
Yeah.
But as we said, made a very strong case. He's been
The best
outstanding.
defender on the best defensive team at
Yeah.
the tournament?
Here's a
Makes
question.
sense.
Given the injury to Saliba, if you're Arsenal, why not just make an offer to Athletic Bilbao? Laporte is 32 years old. So he's,
Okay.
he's
It's a win now move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
No.
Instead, they're going to go get LaCroix,
Right.
who did not have a great
No, he did not.
performance in Saliba's place, and he'll probably struggle in Saliba's place. Or they could use one of the 15 center backs they play at fullback.
Right.
Because the game's haram ball and everything else. Can I just throw out there, we had Johan Vasquez in there as well for
Yeah.
Mexico. They didn't concede a goal until, the 5th game of
Oh,
the
yeah,
tournament.
yeah.
And
He was the guy who was playing every minute.
yeah. And he was, I think, it was a rotating cast next to him because Cesar Montes got a red card. Edson Alvarez played in there as well. You talk about Cucurella. Jesus Gallardo was the offensive outlet at left back for Mexico, and Vasquez was the one alongside him that kept everything clean. So it was a really big shining moment for a guy who's been like the lone soldier out in Europe a lot of times for Mexico. And I think a moment well-deserved for a guy who has taken a lot of slack as the team has struggled, because to Upamecano's point, there's only so much you can do as a center back sometimes.
Yep. Very true. All right, guys, moving along to our Level Up Football Manager Level Up Player of the Tournament. Discovering the next generation of stars has been one of our favorite things about this World Cup and Football Manager. Now it's time to reveal our Level Up Player of the Tournament, presented by Football Manager. All right, let's take a look at the finalists. Ooh, I liked that animation.
Yeah, very nice.
It's pretty cool. All right, we've got Yan Diomande of the Ivory Coast, Johan Manzabi, Ayub Bouadi, Luc de Fougerolles, and Gilberto Mora of Mexico. I'm going to kick us off
Okay.
on this one. I'm going to make a case for Yan Diomande of Ivory Coast. He's almost like a perfect winger, right? He's just very direct. He's pacey, really good 1v1, combines, creates. He's strong and powerful. He was, arguably the star of Ivory Coast in this tournament, who did really well. And honestly, like if it wasn't for that late Holland goal in the round of 32, they would have moved on. He didn't score, but I think his effect on the game was massive for Ivory Coast, and he's one of those guys that, how old is he? 18, 19? He's
19.
19. I mean, just
He's played pro soccer for like 18 months.
and his story is just incredible. I mean, he was playing in USL a couple years ago, and now
NPSL.
NPSL.
He wasn't even playing pro.
Jeez, and now just signed with PSG. So it's a pretty remarkable trajectory for him, and I just thought that he really shined on the big
Coming
stage.
into this tournament, they were going to be like, oh, yeah, we'll sell for 70 million
Yeah.
euros.
Yeah.
And, Liverpool were the favorites. And then there's not a lot of wingers who can play 4 or 5 games, not score, and see their value double.
Yeah.
And to your point about being like almost a perfect winger, when we conceive of wingers, when we think about it, we think about wingers as guys who cause problems for the other team. He does that very obviously. He also solves problems for his team. Watching him in possession, wise beyond his years, was what sort of popped into my mind. His ability to do a lot of the things that Michael Olise does in terms of finding the half spaces and acting as not just a threat, but a safety valve, which I hadn't watched a ton of him. Obviously, he plays for a team that doesn't care about safety
everything
valves.
is direct with his team. Yeah.
But I was totally floored by that, and I think the rest of the world was too, which is why he didn't go for 70. He went for, 125?
Yeah, and I think the excitement for Ivory Coast is a national team that's been built around wide players the last 10 years, a Wilfred Zaha and Nicolas Pepe, who don't do that.
Yeah.
And so I think the way they played in this tournament was Frank Kesse and the guys in there saying, oh, yeah, no, now we can play through him. You can trust him. Like, even when he loses 1v1s, he loses them in a way in which it's not coming back the other way. Yeah. So you can push numbers higher up the field. They were the better team against Norway.
Yeah.
And they're going to kick themselves to the chances they didn't score in that. But through 4 games at this World Cup, I thought they were the better team in all 4 of the games. They beat Ecuador, who was a dark horse. They should have beaten Germany. And then they probably should have beaten Norway as well. And as the tournament went along and teams realized, okay, he's the centerpiece, let's focus on him, he didn't get worse, he got better. And he continued to find ways, to Doyle's point, to affect the game. I think he will continue. I don't understand what PSG needs, so I don't understand spending the money. Like, you have the best wide attacking players on the planet, but I can understand for PSG saying,
yeah,
we're gonna have to spend $50 million more next year or in 2 years to go get him, because he's going to be the best player in the world.
Gutted that Liverpool missed out on him. Gutted, because he's literally exactly what they need. But special player.
And he's also the guy you want to watch. Like, sometimes the game is so safe, and I think that's one of the things in the World Cup we've enjoyed totally. And all the guys on this list are an example of it. Of like, there is still risk, there is still creativity, there is still personality, and Diomande, I think, for performance and personality, is going to be one of those guys at the top of that list for the next 10 years.
And I think Johan Manzambi will be as well.
Yeah. Right.
And he's so good that he even made Switzerland worth watching, which was a bridge that some of us were thinking we would never cross.
He wins the Peyton Manning MVP for the games he didn't play. They showed how boring they are.
Yeah, absolutely. They were terrible and borderline unwatchable without him. But when he got on the field, they were electric. And the best example of that is the Bosnia game. For 75 minutes, it was 0-0, and there was no reason to watch it. And he comes on for 15 minutes. I think it ended 4-1. And he had a hand in, I think, 3 of the 4 goals that Switzerland scored. His ability, he was billed as a box, and this is why he's a level up guy to me, is he was billed as a sort of a box to box midfielder who covers ground and just, adds a little value here and a little value there. And that's not him, man. He's like a Thomas Muller type in terms of finding and understanding space and knitting attacks together with his off ball movement, but then has the juice and the passing ability to unlock play for his teammates. Spectacular player. Well done, Aston Villa. Pipping Newcastle at the end there to get this guy into their roster, because I think he's spectacular.
It reminds me a little, remember when Yaya Toure came out of Olympiacos, he was like playing center back at Barcelona, and then he got to Man City, and it wasn't like, oh, he's an attacking player. It's like, he's too good to contain this deep in the field. And I think Manzambi's the same. We saw of like, he'll just affect the game anywhere he is, and the way he reads the game and realigns the game. That's what we saw in the Algeria game, was like, he read space differently than everyone else. And now he's pulling 2 center backs. So now space opens up for a teammate. Just put him around the game as much as possible.
Just like elite soccer IQ for him.
Yeah. And again, very young player that has more space to go. I'm going to go with Ayoub Bouadi. I love a controlling central midfielder. No one at this tournament played a central role at as young an age as him. And so all of the guys we're talking about, they were kind of unleashed to like, go attack.
Yeah.
A lot of the like safety stuff everyone else will deal with. The stuff Bouadi does is mistake is a goal the other way. And on top of that, he came out in his first World Cup game against Brazil. And I understand it's a Brazil team in the end, we realized isn't at the level. But you're 18 years old playing in your World Cup debut against Brazil in New York City. That's the bright lights. And he just played like it was a pickup game. And he moves the game from left to right. And he's confident and he's comfortable. And I think it pervaded through the Morocco team. And the Netherlands game was his shining moment because it was for many of them. But the entire tournament, at 18 years old, he was the central piece and the metronome of one of the 15 or 16 best teams at this tournament. And he will be for the next 10 or so years. Like, he's going to be the face of this team when they host a World Cup in 4 years. And you have no fears that he's going to worry about that because, again, in his World Cup debut against Brazil, he's playing like back heels in his own half just to open up the game a little more because it's fun and let's get the ball moving and let's play. So to me, I was blown away by him. I understand the bids for 100 million euros and all of that. I would like to see him play, so I would not like to see him benched by some English team who has 15 center midfielders they spent 100 million euros on or more. But I think for Morocco, you have to be ecstatic.
I hope he stays for 2 more years with his current club.
With Lille.
With Lille. I don't think. Look, I think he would play 1,500 minutes for Manchester City, and that's not enough.
Yeah.
I want to see him play 3,000 minutes a season for the next couple of years and then make the $120 million move.
He's 5 years younger than Elliot Anderson.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's the guy who just moved for 100 million to Man City.
Yeah.
And he's a young player. And we're impressed by what he's doing at his age. And he's 5 years. It's just like absolutely absurd. Gilberto Moura deserves credit in this list as well. At 17, what he did, he was the youngest player at the World Cup. And he was also a difference maker. Now, when he dropped a little deeper and made a mistake, it led to the goal against England. That's what you get with young players, which is why I'm even more impressed by some of what Buati did because he dealt with that leverage more often. But Mora was everything that Mexico hoped for at this tournament.
Yeah, he looked special. He looked so like calm about it. Which I was like, dude, you're 17.
Yeah.
Like
when you see him from behind playing, and then they zoom in on his face,
and
you're
it's like, oh, the paper boy.
Right? Yeah. And then you see him in the crowd at these games and all that stuff, and you're like, oh, he's a child.
He is.
Yeah.
On his little baby acne. I'm like, oh, bless your heart. All right, should we find out our winner?
Absolutely. The 2026 Level Up winner.
Johan Manzabi. Congratulations.
I'm happy about that. I'll actually watch Aston Villa because of
for
this
sure.
guy.
Yeah. I mean, replacing Yuri Tillemans in whatever way it is, he does everything plus more that he does. And we saw how effective he was for Belgium. I do agree with you. Switzerland will be watchable for the next 10 years if he's in the team. And I think our first 3 level ups at this tournament were Buati, Diamande, and Manzambi. And I think combined they're going to make like 350 million euros.
If the U.S. had beaten Belgium, would Alex Freeman have been
probably?
Yeah.
I think you could argue Alex Freeman deserved to be on this list anyway. And
I don't think you could.
And he was I think you could argue with De Fugaro. Like those are the two as defenders that were difference makers. But yeah, he was just outside.
All right. Let's move it along to our Golden Glove of this World Cup. And let's take a look at the finalists. For a goalkeeper, we have Unai Simon of Spain, Vozinha from Cape Verde, Diogo Costa from Portugal, Jordan Pickford of England, and Orlando Gil of Paraguay.
The accent changed on Jordan Pickford.
Jordan Pickford.
You had some good flow going.
Jordan Pickford.
Do you want to give the presentation of why Jordan Pickford should win this?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I'm going to go Vozinha because that's the fun one.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going for Vozinha. No, this guy was incredible, man. 40 years old. And we already talked about how incredible Cape Verde's journey was in this World Cup. And he was a major, major part of that. He had 7 saves in that shutout against Spain, who, P.S., are playing in the final and are, arguably the world's best team right now. Stood on his head for 90 minutes against Argentina. I think he had 8 saves in that one. He's his star is just completely blown up. I think he had 50,000 Instagram followers to start.
He's in Rockefeller Center right now.
21 million followers.
Jeez.
He's been on CBS Mornings. I think he was on the Today Show. Like, the guy is become a media superstar, but it's just such a cool story. I think he's still looking for a team, so I'm assuming maybe he's getting some looks. I know he's 40 years old, but at the goalkeeper position, sometimes that just age is just a number. So he's just one of the really cool stories that emerged from this World Cup, and wanted to give him his flowers.
He was also the most effective goalkeeper in possession at the World Cup. He led to the most danger for his team. That's what Gradient said. Huh. The number 2 was Unai Simon.
Okay.
By the way, on that list. And Unai Simon is backstopping the best defense at this World Cup.
Yeah.
It was not an obvious decision for him to be the starter. We have seen some really big moments, especially against France, where he's been active off his line to allow Spain to play a higher line at times. And then when the game's fallen into his lap, he's been really good at making the saves he has to and controlling his space. So I think Simon has put to bed a lot of fears about who was the starter for this Spain team. And if you're a part of the best defense at a tournament, you're always going to be mentioned here.
Did you feel the way he came off the line 3 times against France?
Yeah.
Did you feel like those were bozo moments at all? Because there was one where he was caught out.
No.
Yeah.
I think it was a reality, which was we're playing high, we're pushing the game, and if you want Cucurella to be in the opposing box, if you want Pedro Porro to be set up in places where he scores goals, you're going to have to man more of the space. I also think the other thing was, you don't catch Mbappe the way you catch other players.
Right.
So if you play normal spacing where, okay, a player in possession is slower than a player out of possession, so my defender will catch him at some point, that's not the case with Mbappe. And so I thought it was the right move to read that game and say, this is the one where I have to be aggressive.
Yeah. I agree completely. I saw a lot of commentary after that game being actually pretty critical of Unai Simon, and I disagreed with it. No.
You set me up, and I had an answer for you.
You did? I
Wow.
knew you
Who's
would.
your goalkeeper?
Orlando Hill. Do we know? Did we ever determine if it's Heel or Gill? Because I know if it was one L, it would be Heel.
Heel.
You should call him.
Yeah,
Heel.
we should.
He might want to come play in the U.S. too.
Of all the teams that made it to the round of 16, nobody leaned harder on their goalkeeper than Paraguay did. I think he was their man of the match 3 of the previous 4 games. He obviously was gigantic against Germany, which is probably the greatest win in Paraguayan soccer history. He was the one goalkeeper, other than Vozinha, the one goalkeeper with a very low profile who ended up coming out of this tournament with an incredibly high profile. I think he was at San Lorenzo, right?
Yeah.
And he's not going to be at San Lorenzo for much longer.
I believe the story was that he sold his own gear in Paraguay so that he could get to Argentina to sign a contract.
Wow.
Because he hadn't really signed a contract and he didn't really have a professional career. And he ends up at San Lorenzo on loan from San Lorenzo in Paraguay to San Lorenzo in Argentina. And now plays there. Yeah. Only 26 years old.
Yeah. He
6'6".
We'll see him for another decade for Paraguay. I assume we'll see him somewhere in Europe really, really soon, because it's not just the eye test stuff, which he passes with flying colors, but all the underlying stuff that I've seen is like, oh, he's really good, not just at the World Cup, but he was really good in Argentina. And obviously he has a big game mentality. And you take out the U.S. game, and I think his numbers would probably be the best in the tournament.
Yeah, great shout. All right, let's find out who the winner is for our Golden Glove. Drum roll.
This is great.
Winner is Unai
Yes,
Simon
I finally won one.
of Spain.
I
Good
got
job,
the
guys.
Spanish person, so I get to win one. Thank you, Unai. I appreciate that one. And yeah, I would be shocked if this one changed after the final. Like, I'd be surprised if they gave up so many goals that it completely readjusts the way we see him. But the reality of a goalkeeper is, if it's one big mistake, then it's one big mistake.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. All right.
Heartbroken.
We've got one more award to hand out, guys, and that is the Young Player of the Tournament. So let's take a look at our nominees in this category.
So for this one, Level Up was our own group that we did for Football Manager, which were players that took a jump, young players, This is the actual official FIFA young player that we're predicting, which means you had to be 21 or younger on January 1st of this year.
Okay.
So that's what gives you eligibility for this award.
Thank you, Gus.
Which does not require any, basically Lamine Yamal was the best player in the world 2 years ago. We weren't going to put him on level up because to level up, he'd have to be the best player on Mars, and that didn't happen this tournament. But
all right, so
he's eligible for this one.
These are our nominees: Lamine Yamal of Spain, Pau Cubarsí. We've got Johan Manzabi, Ayub Buati, and Nico O'Reilly. Okay, Doyle, why don't you kick us off this time? Who are you backing?
So I think that the defining stories of this World Cup are Lionel Messi, one last stride, and Spain. Oh my God, they're so impenetrable defensively. And a big part of that is their 19-year-old center back, Pau Cubarsí. He hasn't been perfect. We saw that against Belgium, but he is as close to perfect as I've ever seen from a 19-year-old center back. And he's doing it with some physical limitations. You know, I jokingly called him the Spanish Tim Ream 3 weeks ago on this show. Because, no, that's a compliment, man. Because he's only like 5'10", 5'11". You know, he doesn't overwhelm anybody physically, but he reads the game so well. And he just processes and then problem solves from the back, and he does it again and again and again at a level I'm not sure I've ever seen from a 19-year-old center back.
Yeah, and so far he has bucked the trend by being a Barcelona young player who's just always hurt, because that's necessarily the case. I ended up with Nico O'Reilly on this list. I'm going to be fully honest because we already gave the argument for 2 of these, so there was only 3 others to talk about, and I drew the short end of the straw on this one. I'm not sure that Nico O'Reilly deserves to win this award, but the argument for him would be that he was one of the best soccer players in this tournament. What he brought at left back for England was an ability to go inside or play outside, and so they could play through him, and he could control possession. And when he pinched in, it pushes Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson a little higher, which then allowed to push Jude Bellingham higher. He had a rotation of players in front of him on the left wing. And he was able to find the right way to play with each of them. The difference between Marcus Rashford and Anthony Gordon and all the other players that ended up in front of him throughout this competition. And he ends up starting at left back, bringing balance to a team that had a rotating door at right back, and through some of the best defensive performances of this tournament for this England team. He comes on late against Argentina. He actually did help up the 900,000 videos I've watched of what went wrong and what did Tuchel do and what didn't he. He actually does help stem the tide a little bit for them as he comes in at midfield. His flexibility is just because of his technical quality and his soccer brain. And I would be surprised if he's playing left back a lot over the next 5 years. Like, he's going to be a center mid. He's going to control games going forward, and he is going to be the Swiss Army knife in this special piece, I think, both for Man City and for England.
Okay. You did great with
Thank
that.
you.
I know. I mean, you sounded
me and
you
the
sounded
O'Reillys,
impassioned,
we go
even
back.
though I know
Yeah, we go back. We like to go.
that wasn't your choice.
We like
so
to
I
go
respect
river floating
it.
together.
I respect it, Goss. Well done.
Who are you gonna put out there?
I mean, I'm gonna back Lamine Yamal, and I will preface this by saying I don't think he's had a great tournament. We know we talked about it. He's been coming back from injury, so he hasn't been fully fit, and we haven't seen him be the Lamine Yamal that we know, and that combining creativity, but there have been flashes. There have been flashes of it. And I think for me, this tournament, when he comes in, he has an impact. When he's playing, he has an impact. He gives people problems and he scares defenders. And that in turn creates more space for his teammates. And I think that just the effect that he has on the game is what has been special about him in this particular World Cup. The guy is world class. We've said he's going to be one of the best to ever do it at some point. This hasn't been his tournament because of the injury, but you feel his impact all the time when he's on the field for Spain. And just those little he's just clever. He's just clever.
And to the combo about Messi, a little bit of he doesn't overdo it because he knows he's the best player.
Yeah.
And that's what's kept Spain, keeping him dangerous on the field, because he makes runs through the lines to spread the game.
Yep.
When he draws the double, he sometimes will challenge
And he
it.
draws the double
Every
single
single
time.
And sometimes he'll challenge it, but sometimes he'll move it quickly. And now Cucurella is flying into the A gap, as my college football brethren like to say, because he's brought that extra support. So he understands how he can affect the game. And he is a Barcelona player that has been effective with Spain outside of the Barcelona system, which is not the case for everyone. And I think just shows his soccer IQ at an even higher level.
Yep.
Is it enough to win it?
No, I don't think so. Not in this tournament. Not when there have been standout performances.
I mean, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
If he scores in the final,
He's gonna
he
win
has
it.
already
Yeah.
won it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are we going to announce the winner? Drum roll. Ooh.
Yes.
Pau Kubarsi.
Yeah.
I would like to
Spain.
say Derek threw a little splash on when he announced when he showed that one too. He felt
it.
the style.
He's into
We're,
it.
we're jazz right now. We're drumming.
We really are.
637 touches, which is second most in the entire tournament behind only Rodri. 96% passing accuracy, 100% passing accuracy in the attacking third. He also is among the leaders in terms of passes into the final third
you
amongst all center backs. Moves the game to where it benefits Spain and does so again and again and again.
All right. Very strong
And like
case.
Tim Ream, he got dunked on by Charles.
He did.
He got to laugh. Yeah. Nobody's perfect.
It's a rite of passage.
but Laporte did not.
Well, congrats to all of our award winners. And again, we're going to announce the Golden Ball winner in our post-match
Yes.
show tomorrow. So that one is the only one
We're
that is yet
holding
to
on
be
to
handed
that
out,
one.
but we're holding on to that
Yeah.
one. So that will be really fun to announce. Okay, guys, let's move it along to our best 11 of this World Cup.
Yeah.
So this was a collective, basically, and we've already kind of decided
We all work
we
together.
all work
Yeah.
together because we are a team.
We are a team. We are the best 11.
So let's see who made the cut for our World Cup 26 best 11. Okay. I mean, look at this. So up top, we've got Bellingham, Mbappe, Holland, and Messi. And
Which
then-
could work
which-
as a team, by the way.
You're going to, okay. Yeah, you're going to have to explain it to me. But I yes.
Well, you could do it as a 4-4-2. Bellingham
Okay.
has played out out wide, or you could drop him underneath as a 4-3-3.
Yeah, play Mbappe.
Yeah.
And
That-
because
that-
Mbappe comes narrow and, Cucurella is going to be flying
Boom.
up. it. Yeah.
The Mbappe playing quote unquote out wide is the least realistic part, but I just would like to say of all the best 11s you've seen in the world,
Yeah.
this one is the
We
closest.
did,
to being,
we did the best job.
I think so.
It's closest to being able to step
No,
on the
you
field.
can't argue with this. So
But yeah.
it's hard to argue with that.
So
Attack.
Unai Simon, Golden Gloves for us, so had to be in there
Had to
for a
be in
goal.
there.
Laporte ended up winning defender for us, so he's center back. I think Upamecano, we ended up agreeing, was the best center back otherwise, including the performances for France. And then I think for me, the funnest part of this was the fullbacks because there have been a lot of difference
Yeah.
makers at the World Cup. You've spoken over and over already today about Cucurella, so it felt like he was the obvious pick at left back.
Yeah, he not just because he's played well, but because what he offered to the Spanish team that I think the Spain we saw 4 years ago got stagnant at times. They lacked that off-ball juice, and I thought Spain in this tournament would lack that off-ball juice because of the Nico Williams injury. Cucurella has been relentless, and he has added that. He has been essential, and he has been definitive at times.
The one I was most excited to get in here was Daniel Munoz.
You were
he was
very excited
He was the
about
golden, or he was the leading scorer for Colombia, who in my mind were the most entertaining and fun team at the group stage. He was their leading scorer coming out of it, and similar to Cucurella, he read the space. And what ended up happening was Diaz and John Arias, and whether it was James or Juan Fer coming in, they were pulling defenses apart, but they were not clinical enough to break through. And Munoz, throughout games, would read when the defense had been at its breaking point, and his runs into the edge of the box, leading to two of the goals, a couple pullbacks as well from him. They were the breakthrough moments where he finally read the game and he made his decision, but he still 1v1 defensively was part of the best defensive group throughout. And that included a game against Portugal where he had João Felix and João Mendes breathing down his neck the entire time, and he dictated the terms of that attack, and he ended up on the front foot for that entire game. You add on top of that his story, which is he basically made his pro debut at 22 years old. He had to leave Medellin and go out into the countryside to find a lower quality team that would give him an opportunity because he wasn't considered a pro player. And now he comes back around to being the hero through the first 4 games of this tournament. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone else picks him off of Crystal Palace.
The one guy that we haven't talked about on this 11 at length in the show is Enzo Fernandez.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I think the convo we had going into or out of the England game, he is the second world-class player on the list for Argentina, and he carries a lot of responsibility outside of what Messi's done, and that's in a tournament where McAllister hasn't been at the level that we would hope. Paredes has struggled at times, as has DePaul. And Enzo Fernandez's ability to cover the entire field and to then be quality in possession, whether it's rotating or being dangerous. Obviously, his goal against England will pop up, but that's another example of reading the space, taking the space, understanding where you can affect the game. He's in the list of, 4 or 5 best center mids on the planet when it comes to affecting every single quadrant of the field, and there's a reason what Real Madrid's putting potentially $100 million on the table for him.
Yeah.
What will be fascinating is post-Messi, because he'll be the best player on the team. I don't know what an Enzo Fernandez team looks
We
like.
saw some of it in qualifying. And remember, 2 years ago, Argentina won the Copa America, and Messi did not have a good tournament. He had 1 goal, he had 1 assist, he got hurt in the final, he basically didn't play in the final. That was Enzo Fernandez's team. I think they're going to end up being a lot better than people think with this guy driving the show. He is, I have to tell you, I have a visceral reaction to watching him play. I root against him. If he moves to Real Madrid, which I think he will, that will only be kind of heightened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Rodri's
in
his
there as
partner
well.
here. Yeah, we said it, but he's been one of
He's been
the
awesome.
2 best players at this World Cup, and he's the heartbeat of the way his team plays, and he's only gotten better as the tournament's gone along, and there's a reason he's won the Ballon d'Or. And I guess you could argue 7 of the players in this could win a Ballon d'Or or might or already have. So it's a pretty special group of players, and it's only going to get better. And some of the finalists that we had, Lukumi doesn't make it in here that we talked about. Some of the young players, and then obviously on the Golden Ball side, some of the players as well. It's pretty special.
It is.
He is 3rd in the World Cup in passes in the attacking third. Rodri is, and he's a defensive midfielder. He completes over 92%. Wow. I'm looking at the entire list of players in this World Cup, and you have to go down to number 49, Kone from France, to find someone who completes that high a percentage in the final third.
He played like a game and a half.
He played a game and a half, and he had fewer than half as many passes in the final third.
Gradient has him graded out as the 4th best 1v1 defender at this tournament across all positions.
Yeah. And we don't talk about his defensive. We talk about him defending with the ball, but
yeah, he's blown up some plays where he's gone wide and been that second help. Yeah. He's blown up some transition moments. He has won some huge tackles that keeps Spain being Spain. Because normally in bad tournaments, they give up that 1 goal, and now they're chasing the game, a lot of possession. It's not dangerous, and they're trailing. And Rodri has kept them out of those issues, and I think he's a massive reason why they have the best defense on top of everything he's done in the attack.
Well, there you have it. The best 11 of this World Cup that you will ever see.
We did it.
We did it.
Stamp it.
We did it.
I'm proud of
Tactician of the tournament, Susannah
really
Fuller.
Proud. Yeah, that's right.
The manager of our hearts. The name's on the jersey.
Thank you. It is, actually.
Yeah.
It is. Guys, 1 Knox play tonight. So I know we've got France versus England coming up, but 1 Knox plays tonight. They've got a big one against AV Alta, okay, at home. They are missing both of their center forwards. So Coach Fuller has his work
Fabregas
cut out
is
for
have
him.
to play.
But he's the master tactician. He's gonna figure this out.
If he wins this game, we'll redo the award for tomorrow.
Let's go.
It'll be orange things popping out of the game.
So arguably that is the biggest game today. There also is this 3rd place game between France and England, and this preview presented by Soccer.com. The Adidas Trianda Pro is the official match ball of the FIFA World Cup 26. Own the same ball used on the world's biggest stage, available now at Soccer.com. All right, Gus, let's talk about France versus England. Now, on the socials, there's a lot of people that have been calling for this 3rd place match to be canceled. because we know that neither team wants to be there.
Yeah.
And I think the appetite for it just in general from a fan point of view isn't really there. But you're going to make a case for why this third place game should be played.
Yeah. I hadn't realized it until yesterday. And yesterday I'm watching Thomas Tuchel's press conference, which I didn't understand why he was doing a press conference. Because, like, you've lost the World Cup. Go on vacation and run away.
Yeah.
But he has a game, so he's required to do a press conference. And it was one of the best dramatic moments we've had of the tournament.
Yeah.
So the reason you need a third place game is to require semifinal losing players and managers to do press conferences
It's
in
so
official FIFA
savage.
settings.
Okay, so how did it go down? I missed it.
Oh, he did a little, like, called everyone a Monday morning quarterback. There is a bizarre sequence where a BBC reporter, I believe BBC, quotes Trump in explaining how Tuchel got his tactics wrong, and Tuchel then responds, "Oh, is that your key witness?"
Wow.
And you know what? No one was really wrong in the setting, but it was unhinged.
Wow.
And it was probably
Oh, man.
equally as unhinged as it should be. Tuchel has said he's not going to step down. I think Musa sort of made the point for it yesterday. The part that I keep coming back to with Tuchel is he's selling this. Look at this group. Look what we've come together and done. Look at the culture we've built. And I wouldn't mind any of that if Gareth Southgate hadn't done that for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
If this was the 2018 World Cup, Tuchel would win that argument to me, because he would be coming out of an era of this team fights, they're less than the sum of the parts, they don't like each other, we have talent, but we don't have production.
Yeah.
But he was supposed to take that exact thing he's complimenting. And he's not wrong, which is he's saying, look at how proud I am of this. But he has to understand the context of the last 8 years. And that's one of the things I think he's really struggling with is he's proud of what, Pochettino did this at the Gold Cup last year. He's like, look at what we just did. And it's like, hey, man, you want to go watch the last 6? Like, we know. We've been there before. This isn't new to us, but it was new to him. And that's sort of the argument Tuchel's been making. And I think it'll win over the FA in the end, but I don't think it'll win over any fans.
Yeah, I think the fans are already out on him, and I think they're justified in being out on him because he was in the press burying Gareth Southgate 4 years ago and 2 years ago. And it's like, you just did the same thing, man, and you did it more flagrantly.
Hot kettle.
And I, to me, it's even more so than the performance. It's the roster he picked and the inability to have a different gear to hit. Frankly, I think there was a lack of preparation for the differences in climate and altitude that he had to deal with. It all felt sloppy and amateur. And I'll be watching this game hoping that Kylian Mbappe scores 6 goals.
That is the other thing to watch for, because our golden boot race is still
we
fully
have
on.
alive
we
and
have
kicking.
Harry
Exactly.
Kane, Mbappe, and Dembele.
Yep.
Each of us have one of them.
Yeah.
In this competition.
Kane needs to just go crazy.
And Mbappe has come out and said this is Deschamps' final game as manager.
Yeah.
He's a legend. We need to send him off properly. And I don't think that means giving a half-assed effort against the English. I think
Let's
that
go.
probably means burying them.
Goals.
It has been said by some England fans as well. If they did finish third place, it would be their best finish since 1966 because they lost
They
the
lost in
2018
to-
semi or third place match. Which this is the thing we said for Morocco and Croatia, it's a big deal. Croatia's finished third place twice at a
Right.
World Cup. They say that because they're a small country and whatever. I mean, England's only won this thing once, so they can call themselves whatever they want. But it is something that goes down in history. And being a third place finisher
You've
and
come around on the
the third place game, it's actually called.
You're talking me into it.
I've been wording it wrong. It's the bronze medal championship.
all right.
So there's a lot to go in there. Do they get rings? I've seen this thing about rings. Are they getting rings for the third place win?
That I don't know.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Apparently, the winner of the World Cup's getting a ring now, American
Like a championship?
style.
Oh my God, of course they are.
Yeah. So we'll see if maybe the third place team gets a win. But that's the other piece of it, and and I think Mbappe is like genuine in
Yeah,
that.
no,
For
I
all
do
we're
too.
going to make fun of, like Deschamps been a life-changing presence for him coming into the national
a
team at
legend.
such a young age. He's won a World Cup. He's been to obviously 2 World Cup finals. He won one as a player. And so I think these players will genuinely want to give it for him. And I would add, there is so much talent on these teams that any rotation, it's still worth watching these guys
100%.
play.
Yep. All right,
So we'll
guys.
be locked in.
Locked and loaded. That's going to do it for us today. Guys, fun show.
Yeah.
Liked handing out awards.
Yeah.
Felt very powerful.
Me too.
I know. It's really great.
The definitive answers. We watched the World Cup final. Unai Simon, big mistake. Messi trips on his own feet. Lamine Yamal scores the winner. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Tomorrow, World Cup final, we are going to be here at 2 p.m. to set the stage for that matchup between Spain and Argentina. And then following the match, we're going to go live. Like Goss said, and Doyle, we're going to have some frosty beverages. So
Maybe
come hang
we'll
with
finally
us.
have our Bloody Marys.
The elusive Bloody Mary.
elusive Bloody Mary. It only
elusive
took
World
us a
Cup
month.
Bloody Mary. It
Yeah.
only took us a month to make some damn Bloody
I'm
Marys. But
excited.
it's happening tomorrow.
I'm
Mark
excited
my
because it'll
words.
be our first show that we'll do where we'll have lineups. I love talking about lineups. It's like my favorite thing in
Yeah.
soccer is like, oh, boom, an hour before a
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
lineups drop. So that will be fun as well. If you don't want to watch other people's pregame
It's
shows.
been 90 minutes when the lineup.
Yeah, it has been.
dropped,
And it's
which
been
is
exact on all of
awesome.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. So much fun. So yeah, make sure you tune in tomorrow. We're going to be here. Enjoy the third place match today. Go One Knox. Have a fantastic day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.